The last thing I would ever recommend that you do is bug out. It is the worst choice possible. It should be your last alternative when everything else has been exhausted. It gives you the most amount of exposure and it leaves you the least amount of choices. However, I do plan for it just in case, and if you have to bug out, I feel like it's my job as the man of the family, the husband and the father, to make sure my family is safe and comfortable. Because if we're ever going to have to bug out, if the house burns down, or if there's a tornado that comes through, or some other kind of evacuation emergency, stress is going to be at an all-time high. And that's why I do these things. I do these things not only for fun or road tripping, but to practice and be with my family. That's a big part of prepping for me, is learning these things and just being close to each other and being able to function as a team. I camp with my family to do that, or I go on these road trips. That's what I'm trying to show you here on these videos. And today in this video, I'm going to give you a nice little look at my refugee camp. It's, you know, decades and decades of experience in camping, and I've done a lot of wilderness camping, but I do a lot of base camping as well. And base camping is all about making things as comfortable as possible. And as you can see in this next video, you're going to see a lot of comfort that I put into this and even ease. And there's a whole planning structure to this to be able to pack this up fairly quickly and get on the road with it. Both from a prepping point of view, but also just to make it easy for my family to go camping. So anyway, enough of me talking. I'm going to show you my refugee camp in this video, and also how to make homemade refugee camp root beer. So stay tuned. Okay, a tour of the refugee camp. We'll start with the 3-room Cabela's tent. They have 2 separate rooms on each side, right and left, and they'll hold a queen-size bed, and then it's joined together with a room in the middle that I use for staging. Dog bed, food, table, coffee set up. Kids are on this side. Wife and I are in here. Second is the Columbia Canopy, and this is key just for having that extra comfort, especially during storms. Both of these, both the tent and the canopy, have withstood, you know, at this point up to 40-mile-an-hour gusts. I had a cheaper one of these canopies by a different maker a year ago, and it got blown away. And then I upgraded to this one, and I haven't had any problems since. And it just kind of keeps your main area dry. Then we have the kitchen by Camp Chef. Runs on a 40-gallon propane tank. And I've got 3 burners, and this is where I kind of set up the food, do the cooking. Got my little kitchen table here. Alright, we're almost ready here. Well, I do believe mission is accomplished. Breakfast is ready. It's nice to have a work area. All my utensils and spices, and put everything up to dry and keep everything handy to the cooking area. For sleeping facilities in my refugee camp, I have the Intech queen size double mattress inflatable. Having spent plenty of time on sleeping cots and mats, I want to explain to you some of the comparables. Now for cots, for instance, I'd have to have 2 king-size cots in here to do what this Intech inflatable is doing. And the cots, when they're packed down, take up twice as much volume or twice as much space as this inflatable does when it's packed down. Also, the cots are heavier. So when comparing, there is no comparison in space and weight. But when comparing comfort, there's absolutely no way that the cots or the pads are even in the same realm as the inflatable. So this is all around, to me, makes a better choice. And it's easily repairable as well. If you rip a cot, you're through. Until you can get, you know, the right tools to get it fixed up. But the Intex, with a little bit of goop in about an hour, any leak can be patched fairly easy. This is, the cream of camping. Makes things a lot more enjoyable for you, and it keeps the wife pretty happy too. And that is my Walking Bear favorite camping pillow. Refugee camp. Refugee camp. Certainly last but not least is the Swiss surgical, airdroppable, collapsible field sink. I've got dish and hand soap. What I did was take one of these instant hot water heaters, or hot water on demand. I can use this with a 12-volt pump as well. Just sticking a hose in a water source, either a river or a tank that I bring. And that heats water as I need it, on demand. Turn on, you can hear it light, hot water comes out. And I just keep it at a temp that is handy for washing dishes and keeping your hands dry. And this really is the ultimate luxury. No more bending over, no more heating water to do the dishes or keep things clean. It's pretty nice. Even got a wand and a shower head on the side. An important point that I want to make with you when I was planning this out is that everything you see here I can pack down and fit into my Suburban, including food, in 1 hour. I've got everything compartmentalized and ready to go at my house, so I could pack all my gear, all my food, get my family in, and be gone within an hour. Here's my entire refugee camp packed down. And the key to this is that if you notice, everything has its own box or duffel bag or its own container. That's the key. But in reality, this is, maybe a half a pickup load of space. It's all pretty self-contained, and that also lends to the my ability to pack it so quickly. I can take this out of outbuildings where it's packed up and stacked, and have this either in the Suburban or a trailer and be on the road in less than an hour. So I don't need any extra vehicles, I don't need any extra trips. It's one trip, all my stuff, bang, I'm there. I think, I struggled with whether I was going to get a pop-up or not, but then I'm limited to sometimes the types of terrain. So right now, at this point, I'm going with the tent setup because it's the easiest one to set up anywhere. So even though this is a part of my prepping plan, it's a hell of a lot of fun, again, like the truck road trip, to experiment with and see how far I can go with it and see where I can set it up, or get to the point where it's just that sweet spot of comfort. So even though that 30-round Glock mag is cool, that probably isn't going to mean squat after the storm hits and your house is wiped away or you've had to evacuate your area. What's going to matter is that your kids have a dry place to sit, they're out of the rain, probably a hot cup of cocoa is going to make a bigger difference to them. Maybe a hot cup of coffee and a nice warm, dry place and comfortable place to sleep is going to mean a lot more. A potato log. Perfect complement to trout. It's just one potato, Vidalia onion that I brought back from Georgia, a few pads of butter, and then some olive oil. Wrap it up in tin foil, and we're going to put that on our griddle. Same thing with the trout tonight. Just some butter pads, salt and pepper on the inside, no Lowry salt. And I'm just going to wrap it up in foil and cook them on the griddle as well. How's that for roughing it?
Good.
Let's have some fresh trout. Congratulations on your first trout fishing expedition, ma'am. All right. Want to say the blessing? Oops. Take the hat off. Bless us, Lord, and bless this food which we're about to receive from your bounty through Christ, our living Lord and Savior. God, thank you for everything. This fantastic gift. Amen. You know, one of the earmarks or identifiers of prepping to me is providing a higher quality life or a better product at a lower cost. It's living differently, being self-sufficient to provide my family with a higher quality life at a lower cost. And sometimes the lower cost is just a side effect of getting that better product and learning that skill and doing it yourself. And this is a prime example of that. When I was a kid growing up, all pops, root beer, sodas, Coke, Pepsi, it didn't matter. They all were made with real sugar. It wasn't until really the 80s when they started changing over to high fructose corn syrup and all this other crap. We go out of our way to buy Mexican Coke at Sam's Club and Costco because it's still made with real sugar. But it's very difficult to find root beer in the United States that is made with real sugar. We did find Goose Island outside of our hometown of Chicago that makes a root beer that's made with real sugar. It costs about $20, I think, for 24 bottles, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot for what you're getting. I mean, you're paying a premium price for what you used to pay 35 cents a bottle for. So we looked into making our own root beer. Why not? That's what prepping's all about. Now, in a latter video, I'm going to show you how to make growlers of root beer like this, in these big jugs. You can purchase beer bottles and caps like this, and you can make your own root beer. And with a $10 capper, you can put your caps on and make root beer for maybe $3 a 24 case. But today, I'm just going to show you how to make some really fast, really cheap, totally homemade, very good, made with real sugar root beer, using just some plastic bottles and using the smart water, some extract, some champagne yeast, some sugar, and a funnel. Put your water in a pot. We're going to heat that water up to about 100 degrees, and while it's doing that, we're going to put 3/4 to a cup of sugar in each of these plastic bottles. It depends on what you like. You can taste test it and see how sweet you want it. But between 3/4 and these are 1 liter bottles, by the way. So just double this if you have a 2 liter bottle, or bring it down if you want it in smaller bottles. This is champagne yeast. It's the best yeast to use along with ale yeast. That's another good one because they won't leave a lot of aftertaste. Bread yeast is not good to use in root beer. Put a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast on top of that sugar in each bottle. 1 liter bottle. Then take your warm water, a couple cups of it, and add it to each bottle. Then shake the bottle up, make sure all the sugar and yeast is dissolved. Then let that yeast work itself up a little bit. After just a couple minutes, I am sure that my yeast is activated. I'm going to put in a couple tablespoons of the extract into each bottle. You could probably get away with even a 1/2 tablespoon, but I like the strong taste of the root beer. Then fill it up with the rest of the warm water. Put the cap back on as tight as you can, and then put them in a dark, warm place, warmest that you can find, around room temperature, and leave it there for a couple days, maybe a week at the longest. You can tell, you'll begin to tell if the carbonation is building up just by squeezing the bottle. Once the bottle gets really tight, you've got a lot of carbonation in there. Alright, it's actually been over a week, and this is finally starting to get tight. That's what you're looking for, and another sign is you can shake it and kind of get some bubbles out of it. You can tell that it's carbonated, but the one main sign is that you'll feel the tightness in the bottle itself. Now, it took over a week, and I think that's mainly my fault. I tend to make the mixture too hot. Anything over 100 is going to kill the yeast off. 75, between 75 and 100 is what you're looking for. And I always tend to put the yeast in too hot. At times I've even killed it where I can't get any carbonation. But this one looks like it turned out pretty good. Whenever you get that fizz, you know that's a good sign. Very good. Kids are going to like that. Homemade Refugee root beer. Can't go wrong. Alrighty. You guys can taste test some Refugee root beer. This will make you the most popular person in your refugee camp. Try it out. What do you think?
Oh my goodness!
Huh?
That's so much better than the ones you get at the store.
What do you think? Sugar.
2 thumbs up.
Alright. What do you think, baby? Good? You can take your mouth away from the glass just to say a word. Yeah, because when the storm hits, it's nice to be dry, isn't it? Yeah. Put that coffee on. Girls, I just seen an ark go by with a bunch of animals in it.
I really did.